was in bad shape. I was strung out again. Vietnam took a terrible toll on me. I just didn't know it.
My life was going nowhere. Drugs had definitely taken over my life. I realized I was hitting rock bottom.
I was tired, I was hungry, I was frustrated, I was ready, just to let go.
I had a really hard time adjusting when I returned from Afghanistan and was destroying my life at a pregnant pace.
We had this grand idea to service veterans, to get them up off the streets.
The closure of a veteran substance abuse program 20 years ago was a call to action for John Kevening, Tony Reynes, and Larry Williams. Their mission? To create a safe place for vets, a place where substance addictions and mental health issues, often a result of experiences in combat, could be dealt with, allowing veterans to reclaim their lives.
I find it appalling to hear the words homeless and veterans in the same sentence. Unfortunately, Los Angeles has been dubbed the homeless capital of the world. And what's really frightening is that almost a third of the homeless individuals on the streets are veterans.
The co-founders sketched out their game plan for new directions, and in 1992 were able to open the Barrington House, followed shortly thereafter by a women's treatment facility called the Mitchell House.
That was the beginning. The 5-year plan was to develop programs to serve anywhere from 50 to 60 veterans.
Understanding the tremendous need, they set their sights on a much larger space, Building 116 on the grounds of the Los Angeles Veterans Administration.
And I heard that they filmed Nightmare on Elm Street here, and I thought I could really believe that. It had been abandoned for 25 years. Windows were broken. There were dead pigeons with hawks chasing them inside. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I'm not sure how we're gonna pull this one off.
So we was facing a lot of opposition, a lot of closing the doors in our faces.
The fact that they never gave up. I mean, every time they hit a roadblock, they just plowed right through it. So it was amazing watching them, and it was very inspirational.
John said, look, the Congress just had a general Congress person that's just joined the Veterans Affairs Committee, and that's Maxine Waters. Why don't you see if you can get us into her office? She said, why do you want this building that's condemned? It has all these problems. It has asbestos, it has lead in it. The other concerns, the finance of the building itself, and we kind of turned to us, well, we was hoping that you can help us with that as well.
Funding for acquiring and rehabbing New Directions buildings came from a number of sources. Federal grants supported by Maxine Waters, Representative Henry Waxman, and Senator Alan Cranston, the City and County of Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, Culver City, and Santa Monica, as well as AMVETS, the LA Homeless Services Authority, HUD, and the Veterans Administration.
The number of services New Direction offers has expanded from housing, drug counseling, education, and employment services to programs that treat both substance abuse and mental illness.
We've added a lot more components and a lot more wraparound services. We've included daily living skills, a lot of psychoeducational groups, legal support, and just day-to-day living skills. And it really takes people a long time to take a look at what brought them here, what choices they made, what bridges they burned, and then help them heal those bridges, bring back their families, reunite with the community.
I'm a Vietnam vet. And when I came home from the service, a heroin addict. It started out initially as a coping tool for me because of what I bared witness to while in the service, Vietnam, so forth. I spent over 25 years on the streets. I had a condition which was later identified as PTSD. I didn't know how deep some of the scars were. I just didn't know. I got help in areas that I didn't even know I needed help in. Dignity was restored. It took me 15 months to complete the program. If it were not for New Directions, the services that I received, the treatment, the counseling, the understanding, I can't honestly say that I would be alive today. I work for the VA hospital. I have a government job. Who'd have thought? An old dope fiend like me would end up with a government job. My life has a whole new purpose, and it all started right here in this program. It all started right here.
I can see veterans' lives that have been saved on a daily basis, but also seeing the families that have been put back together.
For Eddie Statsman and wife Rebecca, post-traumatic stress disorder triggered years of substance abuse.
My life before New Directions was helter-skelter, complete chaos.
In my addiction with crystal meth, I thought I was being a good mom.
I was doing meth the whole time. I had children in tow the whole time. I showed up at the VA front door of the hospital and just told the security guard, look, I need help. I met with the social worker who then called New Directions and got me into the program. I was scared, I was nervous, but I was hopeful.
And I swore I was going to get my children back.
I needed help with my addiction. I needed help getting my children back. I needed help getting my wife back. And New Directions gave me the opportunity to get all this back.
New Directions helped me be a better mother, and I can be the mother that I need to be for my children.
There's a big change in my children. They're more stable. They're not scared anymore. You know, I owe New Directions my life. With my children, with my wife, with the fact I'm going to school now, I owe them everything.
The numbers of veterans are increasing outrageously. Unfortunately, they become homeless faster than any other generation of veterans.
You know, I loved my job when I was in the military, and the toughest thing about being an airborne ranger was finding something to turn me on afterwards. Coming down from all that excitement, and at the same time, you're medicating yourself, you know, with drugs and alcohol. You're kind of curing a problem with a problem. When I got to New Directions, there was only one guy who was my age and from my conflict. The rest of them were all veterans of Vietnam. And those combat veterans were able to help me with the adjustment process. So at the same time that I was getting myself sober, I was also getting a lot of tools for you know, carrying on correctly in the future.
The men and women coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan have different addictions, have different mental health needs. What we're doing right now is looking for alternative ways to serve them, to meet their needs, and keep them from entering that cycle of homelessness.
And we had the chance to get it right this time, the tools to do it. We look forward to the future.
We're going to expand into permanent housing so that when people leave our program, they have a safe and affordable place to move into with support services and support family around them.
The challenge in front of New Directions in this age is enormous. And I think the thing to make sure of is that we have the capacity, we have the dollars in waiting, and we have the programming ready and able when they arrive.
I see New Directions as saving everything. It saved everything. I mean, especially me.
I never thought of a miracle until I came into New Directions.
All you gotta do is walk in that door and say, I need help.
And I draw on the experience of New Directions on a daily basis.
Was my life worth saving? Oh yeah, my life has been saved. And I know for a fact that it started the day I slid in that front door.